If you made something for everyone, it would be an incredible success, right? It sounds great if you're an investor or an entrepreneur grinding for a better life for your family, but what if you just want to create? What if your goal isn't simply to get as many people on board as possible, but rather to resonate with a select few deeply? The internet is inherently a global marketplace. Whether you're shitposting on Twitter or writing the next great fantasy epic, your audience, theoretically, spans our entire planet. If you're making something digital, congrats. You now have access to the nearly 5.5 billion people online. On the face of it, that sounds like an incredible opportunity. To have impact, to make money, to find growth for your work. But if you try to create for all of them, you're sure to fail. I love really challenging video games. Some may call me a masochist, but there's nothing like a heart-pumping 200th try on a tough boss. My favorite games, then, won't be a surprise if you're familiar. They come at the hands of Hidetaka Miyazaki and the team at From Software. Miyazaki's earlier titles like Demon's Souls and Dark Souls set the tone here. They're brutal, they don't hold your hand, and the new player experience isn't about comfort and ease, it's about challenge and triumph. It's not controversial to call his latest work, Elden Ring, a masterpiece. It's the biggest game FromSoft has ever made, and it's also the most popular by an order of magnitude. With each new release, however, comes a renewed conversation about difficulty. Does it hurt accessibility? Does it limit the game's reach? When The Guardian asked Miyazaki for his thoughts on toning down the difficulty, his stance was clear. If we really wanted the whole world to play the game, we could just crank the difficulty down more and more, but that wasn't the right approach. Had we taken that approach, I don't think the game would have done what it did, because the sense of achievement that players gain from overcoming these hurdles is such a fundamental part of the experience. Turning down difficulty would strip the game of that joy, which, in my eyes, would break the game itself. If they wanted the whole world to play, the game wouldn't be the same. His answer may seem obvious, but Miyazaki stands on unique ground in the context of modern art. Not only is his potential audience in the billions, but gaming is the largest entertainment medium by revenue, and it's not even close. In a capitalist world, some would even say this gives him a fiduciary responsibility to sell more copies. In spite of it all, his answer is simple. The art will be the art. Miyazaki is daring to say, Elden Ring isn't going to change for you. It's not only counter to the greed of a growth-only mindset that comes alongside consumerism, but it's counter to a group hug mindset that comes alongside modern social values. Don't get me wrong, I believe everyone in the world ought to have art that's for them, but should all art be for everyone? Black myth Wukong is all the rage right now, and my time spent so far monkeying around has been amazing. While major publications cover the tinge of controversy surrounding the title, players are making their voices known. They don't really care. The game is cool and fun. There's a beautiful simplicity in developer game science's approach here. Black Myth Wukong has very clear source material, and it's pointed straight at that North Star. They aren't working from an audience desire or a social moment backward into their game. Instead, the vision comes forward to the audience at 100% authenticity. It's a director's cut on first release. If you don't want that kind of game, I think they're fine if you just don't play. It's easy to have an audience-first mindset while making something. You may think if no one likes this, then what's the point? Setting aside the negatives of a results-driven approach in general, this is an easy way to lose the plot entirely. Your purest creations come from your purest self. So if you're worried about turning someone off with a decision you're making in your art, then what you're really battling is authenticity. It's like the difference between being yourself around someone whether they like it or not, or trying to cater your personality to perfectly fit their desire. I understand the people-pleaser urge, but the version that's fully you will cultivate deeper relationships. The same is true with your art. Think about your favorite film or novel. If you're one of the paradoxical many who enjoy cult classics, you may find yourself uttering the phrase, "It's not for everyone." You may even find yourself apprehensive to recommend these works to your friends, knowing well that this thing which hit you so strongly might land completely flat for someone else. Have you ever asked what those things would look like if they were for everyone? What if Fight Club toned down the violence so more people could watch? What if Game of Thrones dropped a few sex scenes to snag a TV-14 rating? What if Elden Ring had an easy mode? In all cases, if you changed these works with the express goal of accommodation, you invariably dilute them. Even further, it's often that the very aspects of a work which are the most polarizing are also what make them resonate so strongly with their fans. When you create for everyone, you create for no one. The proof is in the pudding of modern content all over your Netflix, Max, Hulu, Prime Video, Apple TV, Disney Plus feed. So many of these films and television shows are crafted to be as low risk and inoffensive as possible. The entertainment execs want wins, they don't want haters. They want products, they don't want art. I was practically born a Star Wars fan, but the beloved franchise is tragically a poster boy here. I'm not talking about political pandering, I'm talking about low risk, make it for everyone storytelling. The Force Awakens had one of the biggest build-ups in cinematic history. It was the third coming of the epic tales from a galaxy far, far away. And their choice for a story was Desert Planet Nobody teams up with Ragtag Group to take down masked Sith villains, giant, planet-destroying space station. It was like the sequel box office boost wasn't enough of a safety net for the studio. They needed the remake boost as well. The same old Wookiee and the same old spaceship may hit the mark for some fans, but for me the approach was so painfully generic it didn't feel like the art had anything to say. I was just one of the million fish encircled in as big a net as the Disney boardroom could muster. For all the hate that the prequels have received, they've aged like fine wine for me compared to Disney's flat approach. Lucas, like Miyazaki or Game Science, dared to make something as is without apology. If he took out Jar Jar so more people would like The Phantom Menace, it just wouldn't be the same. Let's say you're in charge of making the flag for a small town. You need to make sure everyone likes it. After all, the flag should be for them. You try a blue flag, but hundreds of people hate the color. You try yellow, red, and so on. You try stripes, but many folks prefer animals or a seal. After all of this testing and tweaking, the only option you come to, which is perfectly safe for the whole town, is a blank gray flag. Not too light, not too dark, not too colorful, nice and gray, right in the middle, no issues. The world has enough gray flags. There is more content than every person of every age, upbringing, and worldview could possibly consume in their lifetime. So why don't you make a hot pink flag instead? Make something awful. Make something grotesque, offensive. Most of all, make something that someone will hate. If only to speak deeply to someone else who will love it.